What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Chris. And today we have a special guest with us today. We have Caden Tate. What's up, Caden?
Hi, nothing much. What about you?
I'm doing good. I really love your show, and I'm really excited to go over pages worth of notes from this episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, man. This show, oh god, I'm so glad that you teenagers finally have a show to actually be on and compete on.
Yeah, they need to do more of them. Get on it.
Yeah.
It needs to happen.
All right, so we're going to ask you a couple of questions about your experience, your time on the show, but we also have a recap. We're going to be going over episode 3. It was called Wise as a Serpent on IMDb, but on Disney Plus, it's called Mysterious Gifts. So that's the episode, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go over how it's. So Tavora, she's got a secret mirror. She's bringing it out with these two soldier guys. They're going into your area or whatever. I have a question in regards to so when you guys watched the show, were you surprised with some of these characters doing things behind the scenes without you knowing?
Yeah, definitely. Because her two henchmen, I forget their names, but we only had one interaction with them. And so I really had no clue they were such an important part and crucial part of the show. And I knew Tavora was a really crucial part of the show as well. But we really didn't meet her until later in the show. You'll see if you watch it, which you should. But we really didn't know because all those scripted scenes, we were not there for because us as teenagers or paladins, was not scripted at all.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I have a lot of questions in regards to that, but yeah, I also have a lot of. Have you seen Once Upon a Time before?
I've seen a few episodes here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tavora is basically Regina Mills from Once Upon a Time, the evil queen. Yeah, I get vibes from her, but I'm not going to spoil too much, but we do get some backstory with Tavora later in the episodes. So we have these henchmen. They come to the kingdom of Aura with 2 A's. And you guys meet Mila, and she's sword fighting, and she asks you guys, do you have any combat experience? And they didn't show you, they didn't show what your answer was, but did you answer that?
Honest, I know I did answer it, but I cannot remember what I said. I feel I probably said no, and then she moved on because I wasn't gonna be
yeah.
I wasn't gonna say I did karate when I was 5. I'm pretty sure Sean actually still does karate, so. But I really was no, I don't have any, and I was totally okay with that.
So what are your thoughts on Mila? Because I felt like Mila in the very beginning of the first episode, she just seemed like a regular soldier, but it seems like at this point, she has such a huge role in you and your team. So talk about Mila and how important she is with you and your group.
So Mila, with our group, in terms of as far as episode 3, it was definitely on and off because for me at least, I don't know about anyone else, because there was times where we weren't in these training sessions or in these really intense challenges, and we would have conversations with her and we could really see who she is, and you could. I'm always someone who when I talk to someone I look in their eyes because you can really see the emotion and pain behind their eyes, when they're talking about something. For example, when she first found out she was the Oracle, when I was talking to her about that, you could see how nervous she was in her eyes. But when we were doing the combat training with her, on the other hand, she's very, very intense. I wouldn't say scary, but more so intimidating. I personally, I'm left-handed, and I remember I was using my left hand to sword fight, and she's like, "No, use your right hand." And I was like, "Oh, I'm left-handed. I don't care. Use your right." So just very intimidating. But she has good intentions because she wants us to succeed. So that's why you can never take it to heart because you had to be well, she doesn't want you to die. So
yeah,
I mean, you kind of just have to get over it.
Yeah, she's definitely a savage for sure.
Yeah.
So you guys are grabbing the swords. You guys are you're dueling kind of with each other. Can you talk about how that experience was? Who did you spar with? And how cool was that you were able to spar with each other?
Yeah, it was really cool. And what they did not show, which was arguably the least favorite part out of every single paladin up there, you can see in the background of some of the shots I'm trying to think. It was like nets. And what we had on, and you can see it like when she asked for our combat experience, we have knee pads. And so what we had to do is we had to crawl under it, go back, and then go back and forth until she wanted us to switch out. And those knee pads that the kingdom provided us did not fit. So you can imagine how painful that was. So that was definitely the hardest part of that. But like I'm pretty sure I combated with Tashani, Myra, Serene, some people like that are shorter on the height side of things. And we all like at first it was like more serious, we're just like sword fighting, but then like we started talking, we started having conversations, and then they allowed us to have a period to like sit down, kind of talk to each other while we watched other people sword fight. I know I talked with Myra, and that's all it was really. And I did not hear anyone else really talking. So it was just, pretty relaxed after the first, I want to say, 10 minutes or so of it.
All right, we got Dread Pirate XX in the chat, Quest Army, and the real evil in Everrealm knee pads. That's funny.
Yeah. My knees are still bruised from that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god. All right. So, Tavora's henchmen, they come into the castle, and they have this mirror, and the horn blows.
Yeah.
And you guys go into, I don't know what, like, inside the castle, what that location's called. I would say, like, a chapel-ish?
Like, is it where, like, the royals were all sitting?
Yeah, where all the royals are, and you guys coming in.
What did we call that? I think we called it the throne room, I'm
pretty sure. Throne room, okay. Yeah. So you guys are going into the throne room, and Prince Emmett, he doesn't trust these guys. Someone said the Great Hall. Emmett doesn't trust them, and they ask about the kingdom, and especially the looking glass, which is basically the mirror. So I actually want to know your opinions on Emmett at this point. What your guys' perception is of Emmett.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure we all loved Emmett at this specific point in time, because I feel like out of the three royals, so Princess Adeline, Prince Cedric, and Prince Emmett, he was probably arguably number one or number two, depending on who you ask. For me, I would definitely say he was number two because Princess Adeline just that was my girl, yeah. But he was really, really sweet and very, very intelligent, and I saw a lot of myself in him, so I definitely like related to him on that aspect of just like not being brawn, but like having the brains for things. So I definitely saw eye to eye to him with that. And again, like kind of how you mentioned before, we had no clue that it was like a looking glass or any of that stuff. So we really didn't know what he was so nervous about, but he had good intentions. So that's what matters ultimately.
Okay, so at this point, they come in, and this is the first time Tavora. That's her name, right? Tavora.
Yeah, Tavora. Yeah, we got Tavora all the time.
I thought it was Devora at first, and I was like, no, it's Devora. I got switched with Travis, Tavora.
We were saying Devora up until episode 8. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, we were messing it up every single time.
Okay, so Tavora finally finds out about the king, so she makes a face, and like Emma does not trust these people because they didn't bow down or something like that. Like he doesn't trust these henchmen because they didn't bow down. They weren't acting like the Austrians that they were. And I do like how your show, like, it's not just one quest, but there's like a mission. So there's like a mission and then there's a quest and there's all this plot stuff going on. And I really love that about your show. So you guys have to, Prince Emmett says you guys have to come up to make a magical truth serum to see if they're lying or not.
Yeah.
It's called the Elixir of Truth, and you guys have to find ingredients. So talk about that. How hard was it to find these ingredients?
I wouldn't say finding the ingredients was hard. I would say more so just working together as a team, which For me, it was mainly because everyone really, really wanted to be a leader, which I respect that and I get that. And also, like, I'm talking in, hopefully, people can tell, like, I'm talking in past tense. So,
Yeah.
no hate to anyone. It happened a year ago, so y'all can settle down. But, it was really hard. And what y'all don't see is that on the show, it shows that we only messed up twice. We messed up 4 times.
Oh
Uh,
god.
yeah. So, and each time arguably was my fault. Like, because I'm trying to think. I think I was paired up with Sean. That's what I remember at least. And we all had like these little paddles. And then someone had like to hold the beaker up on that paddle. It was just really, really hard. Or honestly, like it probably wasn't hard. It was just like we weren't talking. We were just all like, now, and then like 5 seconds later, someone would dump it in. And then
Did you have a time limit?
we did not have a time limit, if I remember correctly. We just had, and we didn't have a time limit. It was more so just like we had to do it quickly because who knows what would have happened if we did it 45 times, and who knows what would have happened. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so there was no time limit, but there was still urgency that was set upon us. So they didn't really have to give us a time limit.
Yeah.
Um, and so what I would say though is that, and you see in the episode, I tell everyone like y'all calm down. Like it's not like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's not like that because it was serious, but like it was just very chaotic and hectic because the things that everyone was getting upset about were so small and little. Like, oh, I should carry this potion down, and like I think in the moment, like everyone would agree with this now, at least in the moment, it was more sort of looked like, oh, I like helped out so much with this challenge. That's why you kind of see me being like, okay, here, like just take it
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, like it's I was there to just be a team player and let people do what they wanted to do. Um, but yeah, that was definitely a stressful challenge.
I wanted to talk about episode 2 when you guys were having, I guess it was like the royal feast or whatever. Well, I actually have 2 questions about that. So one of the questions is like, what did you guys eat there? Because I'm actually kind of curious on like what kind of food they gave you. So yeah, what did you guys eat at the royal?
We
You
had
know.
gray stuff. I know that. Um, and then we'd water. I'm trying to think. It was like ham. I'm pretty sure. That's all I can remember because I barely ate that food. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't remember. I think I was more focused on like the conversation at hand.
Hmm.
So that's all I remember at least.
Okay. And I also kind of wanted to talk about in episode 2. I know I recapped this before, but Dave said, I think I forgot which Cedric, Prince Cedric was saying like, so who do you think out of amongst you guys are going to be the hero? And David was kind of talking about how I don't remember what his exact words were, but he was talking about how um, we have to compete as like single people because only one person wins. And you chimed in and said, no, we got to compete as a team. So can you talk about that, like between your and David's relationship at this point, and how between that episode and like now how things shifted, or if it didn't shift?
Um, so with that, my thing is that that was the second day of us really being there, second or third. Can't really remember. But so he had won the first challenge, and you could see in the episode when he won, he was like, we did it as a team, and he was someone that was really, really about teamwork. And he always said like we have to do this as a team, and it was very clear from the beginning that this quest isn't just about one person winning. Like yes, at the very end, like one true hero, but the one true hero can't do it without their 7 other friends. So, and that was something that was said to us, not as clearly, but hinted at and
Hmm.
suggested from the Royals. The Fate, I can't remember her name, but the Fate that we met in the first episode,
Yeah.
just very, very clearly. So when he said that, it just took me aback a little because that's kind of like, but you were saying like we're supposed to work as a team, so I don't
Yeah.
like what you're getting at here. So that's why I was like,
You know
what?
what? I think it was Prince Cedric just stirring up the pot. To be
Yeah,
honest, he tends to do that a lot. Prince Cedric.
yeah, he does do that, and so it just kind of took me aback. So I was like, and you can kind of see it because when I said what I said, I was definitely like more. I wasn't nervous, but I just didn't know how to word it because I was like, yeah, there may be like one person that wins, but like you kind of have to like have everyone involved and everyone working as a team, which in the end maybe we learn that lesson or maybe we don't. Who knows? But
Yeah.
that's something that I at least like latched onto pretty early on, and I know he did as well. And maybe he was just maybe it was just something that he didn't really mean to say, or maybe he was just feeling that way, and like that's totally cool. And so I was just saying my thoughts on it, and at that point, I'm trying to think of where our relationship was at that point. Um, yeah, I don't think anything like was wrong at that point. Like honestly, because he's a very understanding person. He's a very kind and just again kind and understanding person. So he really didn't take offense to it, and he's someone that he speaks his mind. And so I was just saying what I thought, and just like he can speak his mind, I can speak mine. So he didn't really take offense to it. I didn't take offense to what he said, and it was just over.
All right, so let's get back into the episode because the potion finally works, right? And I'll be honest, I think I might have skipped this part, and because I didn't know certain people got certain talismans. So Shane gets the talisman. I don't think there was a name for the talisman. I think it was what's her name?
Yeah, the girl. Sean got the Talisman of Creativity.
Oh, that's what it was called. Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the Talisman of Creativity. And then we have this moment where you talked about this before about you guys are coming together and you guys are talking about, and this is a periodically like this similar thing when it comes to being a team. So talk about that when it comes at this point, like when it comes to like being a team, because you could be a team and then have one person be a leader, or have a team where there's multiple leaders or there's multiple followers. So at this point, what are you guys understanding about each other when it comes to being a team, and how are you trying to formate it to help you guys longer?
Yeah, so honestly, it's hard to pinpoint honestly because it's only like a 4-minute section of the show, but I know for at least me in the moment I was frustrated because I was like, yeah, y'all are right, but y'all are the same. Like y'all were the issue in the challenge. Like
yeah,
it was and like again like that's like a good quality being a leader, but like it was y'all in the challenge that were like doing all that. So they had the right idea, but like it was just not directed at the right people. So because I remember specifically like one of the comments they made was directed at me, and I was just like, I didn't say anything in the challenge, so I don't know like why redirect that to someone else, because it's not meant for me. Because I was just fine doing whatever. Because I can be a leader, I can be a team player, I can do whatever you want me to do, and I'm not gonna argue with that. But I know some people's mindsets might have been, if I'm the leader, that'll showcase me more to the fates, and I can potentially win more challenges, which isn't a bad thing. But sometimes, and you have to keep this in mind, and it's a lesson that all of us, again, a lesson we learned, is that the person that leads isn't always the one who shines the most. Sometimes it's those people who are team players and that do things quickly, and those people shine the most.
It's a good answer. All right, so let's get into so you guys go back to the castle, and before the king signs the paper away, Emmett's like, we need a toast. We have to have a toast. So you guys like, I don't know, it's just funny, like you guys like interacted with like all these other characters. Like you see Sean like give him the guys the glasses, the whatever, and the potion works. And they talk about how Tavora, they were sent here by Tavora, and then we see, what is the orange hair girl's name? I keep forgetting her name. Mila. Sorry. Her name is hard to remember sometimes.
Oh,
So Mila's like, we gotta destroy the looking glass because they're working for Tavora, and Travis is like, we gotta keep the looking glass here because it can help us, fight magic and stuff like that. And I want to we gotta talk about Travis, because first episode, Travis, I get really bad vibes from Travis. I don't know if it's because like the way he looks and it's the way he presents himself, but I think Travis is like, he's kind of a backstabber, and I think Travis at this point, he seems kind of selfish, like he wants things done his way, and I'm curious, your perception of Travis from the first episode and like now when he doesn't want to break the looking glass.
Oh, I didn't trust him from day one. And I'm gonna be and you have to keep in mind, like, I didn't see any of the things that, like, he
Yeah.
gets to
Hmm.
see. I still didn't trust him, and everyone, like, all the other paladins besides Tashani and Myra, I want to say, were all for him. So it put me at such a bad position because I was like, I don't trust him like at all, and I'm someone I really follow my gut instinct, and I would tell them like, I would lay out all the facts, and then they would, or well, I wouldn't call them facts. I would just say like my observations because there was no facts at that point. I would just
Hmm.
say what I was seeing, and then they would be like, "Oh no, like we have to have facts only," and then they would list like their opinions, and I was just like, "Okay, well, but like, agree to disagree." But I didn't trust him at all, and that definitely continued throughout the series because I just got a really really bad vibe from him, and yeah,
Okay, so the or the oracle, or the, what is it called? The orb, the blue orb.
yeah, I'm just gonna call it the orb because I feel like
The
that's what.
orb. So the orb starts lining up, and you guys have to go meet the serpent of the Syrian dunes, and
Yeah.
find the gem of wisdom. So we are gonna talk about this quest. Okay, so we see this, like, I don't mean, it looked like a skinny alien like fish thing that comes out. How scary was that thing?
So at first, like when it came out, it wasn't scary to me. I was like, oh, okay, because like I don't know how to explain it. I was just like, oh, like okay, that's not that bad. And then yeah, it progressively got worse for me. I was like, no, yeah,
Yeah, that thing looked really, like, I don't even know what you want to call it. It looked like a tall fish alien looking thing. And Mila tells you guys that you have to, like, lock yourselves in this cage. You have to unrope. You have to basically untie the rope and then solve a puzzle. I want to talk about what your experience was like when you were doing that challenge. Like, was it like a lot harder than like what it looked on the show?
yeah, and for a few reasons. So for me, for number one, my biggest fear ever is snakes. So I was like, and at first I was like, oh, like that isn't that scary. Because when I say snakes, I don't mean like gardener snakes that you find in your backyard. I mean like king cobra. Like I don't, yeah, like it's not anything like small. It's like big things. So I was like, oh, that's not that scary. Like honestly. And then like when you start doing the puzzle and you're in that little cage, it starts coming up to you. Like it can't touch you, but it's in the bars and its tongue is like out at you and it's hissing at you and like taunting you. And I was like, no, absolutely not.
Nope.
I'm tapping out. And then and secondly, like I'm not like amazing at puzzles, but like I'm pretty smart, so I was like, okay, I can just figure it out. But what I couldn't figure out is and how the puzzle worked is the main thing you had to do that like to get started at least there was I'm trying to think I think it was either two or just one. It actually yeah it was two like big knots, and those were like the
Hmm.
knots to get first. And what nobody knew besides Ava is that they were like braided. And so Ava figured it out, and we could all see her figuring it out. We kept saying, "Hey Ava, how do you do that?" And she would just so like, yeah, so she would just ignore
She
us.
went in competitive mode. She's like, I want to win this.
Yeah, no, and like I respect that, but like in the moment,
Yeah.
I didn't, um, because as I said before, it was always like we're gonna work as a team, and then that happens.
Yeah.
I was
Mm.
just like, oh, okay, whatever. So I was like, she can like, and I can't blame her either because even like in the moment, I was like, I had to sit back and be like, yeah, like I would have done the same thing. Like honestly, like if
Hmm.
I would have done the same thing. So, and then Tashani started to get it, and she was just like, y'all have to unbraid the things. And we were all like, what? Like we don't know what you're talking about. And so she like was like unbraid the things, and she showed Myra, and Myra was right next to my cage, so I saw her do it, and I just started following suit. And so I still couldn't get it because like I don't braid hair, like I don't
Yeah.
on a regular basis, and that's why Ava was also so good at it because she was always braiding Myra's hair to Shawnee's hair, braiding her own hair, like she was always doing that. And so that was definitely a challenge where I was just like, yeah, I know I'm not going to win, so I was trying to make as much progress as I can before like the snake eats me or something.
Yeah, and you also had I want to talk about the hour. Well, I guess how long was that competition? How long did it take Ava about to do it? Do you know?
I have no clue. Honestly, I want to say less than 10 minutes, but like maybe
Hmm.
10 max, but it could have been 15. No longer than 15 though.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. So Ava wins. She helps you guys out, and she gets the gem of wisdom. Um, and yeah, she gets the gem of wisdom. You guys go back into the castle, and you guys get the third gem with out of 4 for the crown.
Yeah.
Okay, and we see Dravis. This is something that you didn't see until now, which is so you see Dravis, about to destroy the glass, or he does destroy the glass, but Tavora fixes the glass, and then that's how the episode ends.
Yeah.
Tavora, Dravis, you gotta screw it for everyone, man.
Yeah, Dravis is definitely
Dravis.
yeah, he's an interesting character. Like I feel like all of them are, but like even more so watching the show, like, and you kind of mentioned, and I won't spoil it, but
Mm-hmm.
watching Tavora's backstory, it has layers because at first like on the show I was like, oh, like I hate Tavora, whatever, but seeing like the stuff she's gone through, it's kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
like I don't think like you're right, but like
Mm-hmm.
I can I can I can validate more of your emotions than I could have before. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hold on 1 second. So someone in the chat asks, how much of the backstory did you Paladins get?
Before we like got on before we like started walking in the woods, none. We didn't receive anything. Everything was explained to us as we go, which is why yeah. So we had no clue about anything, and that's why our reactions are the way they are because like we had no clue what we were doing at all.
All right. Well, thank you for the questions, Dread Pirate XX. Appreciate it. So that was it for the episode. So now I want to go into you, Caden. I want to talk to you about how you found out about the show, how you got cast, how long filming was, and a bunch of other questions. So let's start off with: have you seen the original The Quest, which was on ABC, and it came out in 2014?
Yeah, I did after I think I did after I found out I was going on the show.
Okay. Okay, and how was casting? I'm curious on how casting was for you. Did they reach out to you? Was there something to apply for?
Yeah, so someone actually reached out to me surprisingly, and it was because I applied for a different show a year prior called what's it called? Karma on HBO Max, which is like the endurance reboot. But I didn't get on that obviously. I missed like the semifinals, and so they reached out to me like a year later saying, "Hey, Caden, nice to like talk with you. Like you should apply for this." So I was like, "Why not?" Just just for fun. So I apply, and then about a week later, I was in Sarasota Springs, Florida. I'm picking up my sister from college, and we got a call that they want to have like a Skype interview with me, and so we did a Skype interview like quite literally the day the country shut down, and I just had my Skype interview with them, and they kept saying, I remember really specifically, they kept saying like, "Oh, we're gonna film in like Europe," and I was like, "No, y'all aren't," because my mom's a nurse, so I was just like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay, whatever." And so I didn't hear back after that. Or well, they asked me to send them like a Dropbox of like a few photos and videos of myself just doing everyday things that I enjoy, and so I sent that. And they said they were gonna send it to the network. And then I didn't hear back until I want to say October when someone else reached out saying, "Hey, congratulations, you're one of the finalists." Had my final interview later that week, and then I didn't hear back for literally a month. So I kind of assumed I was like, "Oh, I didn't get on." Like,
Yeah.
I remember my final interview when I would say things, like I would say things, and I don't ever say things with the intention of being like funny. Like I'm not like a comedian or anything, but like I'm someone I can just like make people laugh, like because the things I say, like I don't feel like people will expect me to say them, but like they were very just like poker face, like they really did not have any emotion when I was saying anything. So I was like, oh, like crap, I bombed that. So I remember walking out and telling my mom, like, yeah, I'm not getting on this. And so about a month later, they called and said, hey, congrats, like they want to like lock you in for this, and Yeah, and we were supposed to film in like December because of COVID. It got pushed back, and then we filmed. I want to say I got there like February, and then I left March. So yeah,
Oh, so you guys only filmed for a month?
yeah. So I want to say we started filming on like February 10th, and then we left around the first week of March.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
crazy. There's so much footage.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm always curious on like how long these shows last. Like these types of. That was gonna be my next question. How long the show was. So you applied for the show, or you said they reached out to you, correct?
Yeah, they reached out to me just like saying, "Hey, you should apply," and then I applied. But like how it works usually is like you could say, "Did someone recommend you?" And
Yeah,
I guess like with these things, they have like a casting team, so I
yeah.
just put that person's name down, and so
Hmm.
they recommended me, I guess.
Okay, and that was in 2020, correct?
Yeah, so March of
Wow.
2020.
Oh wow. Okay, so like 2 years. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question I'm going to ask you is, what kind of surprised you the most when? Well, this is kind of a two-parter. So, what surprised you the most when you were in the quest, and then what surprised you the most when you watched the quest?
What surprised me the most was definitely just I think definitely how different people are from me. And I know that sounds dumb, but like at the same time, you kind of I'm someone I get along with people pretty easily. I always have. I'm a very, very social person. But you really, really had to fight tooth and nail with some of these people to like have a good conversation with. And those people I had to fight tooth and nail with are like some of my best friends now. So it's weird saying that, but and I told them that too. I was like, it was hard to like have like get to know you because your guard was up. And so it really just taught me, like not everyone comes from the same environment as you, and some people have their guards up automatically, and that's okay. But that surprised me the most, like definitely, and just how people react so differently to things. Like I might have like when I lost a challenge, I was still smiling, and I was like, I'm good. But then there were some people who like really really upset about it. So people just react really really differently to things, and I knew that always, but just seeing it in person play out is a whole different thing.
Okay, good. That's a good answer. All right. So, what did you learn about being on the show, and how did the show change you?
The show just made me more patient. And that's like the thing like that's carried through my life like since I got back from the show because there was a lot of times where my patience was definitely tested. Whether it was with a challenge, someone on the show, who knows, but like there was a lot of times where I at first I wouldn't hold back and I wouldn't bite my tongue, but I had to slowly learn like sometimes just biting your tongue and being patient with someone and just understanding where they're coming from and putting yourself in their shoes is always the better option.
Hmm.
Sometimes like it doesn't work, but that's always like something you should resort to first. And so that's what I learned the most. And like whether I win or lose, again, y'all can find out because this is only episode 3 recap. But
Hmm.
whether I win or lose, like I felt like a winner either way because that's like a lesson I took back with me that really, really helped me a lot in my real life outside of Everrealm. So yeah.
All right, we have a comment in the chat. It's a weird slash cool moment when us theater kids find out that not everyone else is a theater kid. Weirdos.
Yeah.
I never did theater, but I do know that like yeah, it's definitely
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it's weird because I've had that comment actually said to me a few times, and like, because I'm a junior in high school, I'm not really friends with any of the theater kids. So I've heard that a few times, and like I get it, but I personally I'm not really friends with any of the theater kids at my school, so but I love all the theater kids, so I was doing it for y'all out there.
Cool, cool. Gotta represent.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna answer that because we don't want to spoil it. I was gonna. My next question was, who did you expect the winner? But I'm not gonna spoil that. All right. And I asked, did you watch the past quest? The Talisman of Speed. So how exciting was that you won that?
Oh, that was amazing because like the first challenge was also kind of like speed related. I sucked at it, so I was like, oh yeah, like I like actually did that, even though I was like I can just like forget about the other one because I won this one. It's actually called the Talisman of Speed. So, and like what they did not show in that what's it called, the first challenge is like when they were like, "Oh, it's Caden like running up before like we like searched through the bugs and stuff," because I was taking my time because I already assumed I lost, so I thought they were already like finished. So I was taking my time. So like when I was like just walking, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have asthma or something. Like I need to like
Yeah.
get checked out." So I was like, "Oh crap!" Like they weren't done. So I started like running as if I was trying the entire time. And so when I won that one, it was more so just like I wasn't I wasn't happy that I won the talisman as much as I was happy that I proved myself because like that first challenge made me look like a weak link. And even though there was no eliminations, like it still puts that in people's heads that you're a weak link. So I was just happy I proved people wrong.
Good. All right, so Dre Pirate XXX, did you at least get the armor?
Yes, it's in my closet. I
Can
haven't
you
touched
s-
it.
How that's been a while, right?
Yeah,
Did the last time you wear it was on the show?
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Okay. I'm curious at this point, episode 3. The three amigos, Adeline, Cedric, and Emmett. They're fighting for the crown, and they're the brothers or sisters. So at this point, who do you think deserves the crown?
Um, so at that point in time, I'm trying to think. Um, I would probably like if it was at that point in time and you asked me this like a year ago, because
Mm.
honestly, like watching now, I've been like, I don't know, but probably Princess Adeline, just because like she was the kindest to us, and I feel like that's what that kingdom needed in like such a time of like despair and like so much going on.
Cool. So I want to talk about oh my god, I literally keep forgetting her name. I have no idea why. Emmett and Mila. Mila. So Emmett and Mila, did you expect like them to kind of have like a thing going?
I'm not. I didn't even see it, and then I don't know. I feel like it was around this time Tashani pointed it out, and then we were all like, oh, like yeah, like we see it, and so we all saw it at that point. Just because of the awkwardness, like,
Yeah.
and like not like awkward and like oh I don't like you awkward, but like awkward, like very like just the chemistry was definitely there, and it was just very awkward, and we were like, oh, so like that, like we
Yeah.
didn't know what to think of it. So, and none of us had seen like that side of Mila or Emmett because we don't know these people.
Hmm.
So it was definitely interesting. It was interesting to see play out.
Okay. Well, that's it for the questions on my sheet. I do have some other questions that I want to ask you.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, of
So
course.
if you had to choose a reality show to go on based on your experience with this show, how old are you? 14, 15,
I'm
16?
17.
17. Okay, so you have 4 more years and you could apply to a bunch of different ones. So which ones would you apply for, or which ones would you want to go on, knowing after this experience?
Trying to think. Like honestly, because my family is pretty rooted in reality TV. Like I'm trying to think. My cousin used to like work on Survivor, so I kind of already like before even going into this, I knew like all the things about that. Um,
Yeah.
probably trying to think. Either Big Brother or Are You the One? I don't know why I would say Are You the One. Just more. It seems like an easy show to do because I wouldn't have to like actually like really do anything. I could just like sit back and like be entertaining, or like Love Island, or actually wait, I take all this back to The Circle. That would be a good.
Mm,
Yeah, and you have to be 18 to go on that one. I remember very specifically. Yeah, The Circle. I know I would be do so good at that game.
all right. Do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Um, watch the quest. Like
Watch
that's
the
all.
quest, guys. It's
Yeah, yeah,
really good.
yeah. Like we want a season 2, so watch it.
That was gonna be yeah. Don't tell me yet. We'll definitely have you back for another episode recap. We'll probably have you back for 7 or 8. 8's the last episode, so I definitely want to have some of you and your friends coming on the podcast to
Yeah,
talk about
I'll have them reach out to you definitely.
Yes, definitely. This is definitely a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time on Reality Room Podcast.
Thank you.